Hello, my name is Nikki and welcome to another Let's Draw. Today we are doing the final portrait of my portrait series, my portrait study journey, at least for now. This is a piece from imagination, so no reference. Tried to do this entirely out of my head as much as I possibly could from memory, trying to render the face and clothes as well. And this piece, I actually did a couple of different poses that I chose between, and I chose this one in the end. I think I had help from my chat, I don't remember, in choosing, but I loved her face that I finally came up with. And her face at this stage reminds me so much of Little Mermaid, Ariel. At least Little Mermaid's daughter. Eventually when I do the colors you'll see, but I really loved her face in the sketch. I not as much in the final piece, but I still liked it. I thought overall it looked really good. I was happy with it. But yeah, there's a sketch completed, and I wanted her to be wearing a what do you call it, like a sweater thing over her shoulders. It was supposed to be one over the shoulder and one off the shoulder, but I decided in the end to do them both off the shoulder with a little tank top or spaghetti strap top underneath. When I was choosing the skin colors, I was trying to go for like a Latina skin tone, but I ended up doing this really cartoony skin tone in the end. I had a lot more saturated color chosen at first in my under layer, as you may have seen just a second ago, and then I changed to this tone, which I did like better, but I feel like it was still a little too cartoony. But anyways, I chose the colors beforehand like I did in my last piece from imagination. I try to like block out what I think the colors are that I'm thinking of, and then look to see if they look good together. And I just kind of put them haphazardly on the canvas. I did that pretty quickly in this one, so kind of hard to point it out now. But now I have actually decided on the colors I'm going for, and these are pretty much the colors. So notice I just made the skin a lot more saturated, and then the old skin tone that I had, I made the highlights. I do make it a little bit more pink. I think in the end it's not this orange. My final colors don't come out looking this orange, but this is pretty much the color it stays at. I try to add a few more pinks in, but again, I think it was a little too cartoony for my taste. I was trying to give her some like interesting colored eyes, like something I hadn't done before. I settled on these like gray eyes. Somebody in chat was suggesting like green, and I was like, well, I just want to do something different. I feel like I've done green before, and there are only so many eye colors that you can do, right? So, I don't know. I decided to do these gray eyes, which it doesn't really show up as much in the final piece, but they still look good. I thought they looked cute. But yeah, my color blocking is pretty much like I'm trying to figure things out on my own, because there's no reference to go by, so I have to really think about where is the direction of the light, what is in shadow, what is curved, what is a sharp edge, to figure out these highlights and these shadows for everything. And I thought I did really well on the chest. I was very happy, as you'll see in a second, with the chest. And the face came out pretty good too. Looking at it now, like I think when I was doing it at the time, whenever I do the first blend, when the first pass of the blending, I always feel like, oh my gosh, it's way too soft, and then I start to detail things and I start to like it. But look at this nose. Let's just admire this really weird looking upturned nose. It just looks so weird, and I because I was like staring at it during it the first time I was drawing it, painting it, I couldn't see how bad it looked until I knew it looked weird, but then I came back the next stream and I was like, okay, this is really bad, and I repainted it completely. As you can see, I did a completely different nose. I turned it down more. I hid that other side of the nostril more, so I feel like you shouldn't be able to see it as much as I was able to see it before. And it looks so much better. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I repainted it. One of the things that happens sometimes is like I get this feeling of, oh my gosh, I spent so much time on this thing, and then I feel bad about repainting. But it's really important that you don't get so attached to your work that you can't just repaint it completely. It's very important that you're able to just notice that if something is wrong, just fix it. Don't get so attached. You know, I remember hearing about that from one of my favorite artists was talking about it. I think it was Loish. I can't remember now. And she was saying that. And it's something that I've tried to take on and not get so attached to my work that I can't just do it over if it's not working. Thankfully, I haven't had to like redo giant parts of my work because it wasn't working. Usually I'm able to maybe, like, I just repainted this little part of the nose, or in other times I might just edit it in Photoshop, like with the liquify tool. Thankfully, that's all I've had to do these days. I haven't come into, like, knock on wood, I haven't had to like repaint giant parts of my work in like ever. So I'm hoping it stays that way. Again, I love these eyebrows. I thought they were really neat, especially because her hair was really dark. I didn't have to like detail it too much, and I'm starting to, like, as I said before, get used to like how I like eyebrows. So it came out really nice. I was very happy with it. Now, like, we're doing the body, and this part I said before was really, really satisfying. I love how it came out. You know, the little highlights, the little cleavage there, the edge of the crease under her arm, like all those little folds of the skin and the bumps and things. Like, it's so satisfying to paint when you like start to understand it and are able to render it. It's so satisfying to paint. It really is. The ear I struggled with a little bit because I was trying to remember how to paint ears because I keep forgetting. Like, I practice ears so much and I forget every time how to paint it. So I was like, okay, I think there's a curve here and here. But yeah, it came out all right. But yeah, we're finishing up the skin and the face, and we're jumping into the hair now. So while I was doing this hair, I gotta tell you, I was not happy with like the way it was going. But I have to like persist. When I persist, it does eventually come out the way I want it to. Like, see, at this point, it's starting to look decent. I'm like, okay, I like it. But like this starting stage, at this point, it looks so terrible. I'm like, ew. But I just keep pushing through, and I keep blending, and I push forward into the darks, into the lights, into the darks, back and forth until I get something I like. And I just gotta remind myself every time I get to doing the hair, I'm like, don't worry, it'll come out good. It's okay, just keep going. But yeah, I love how the hair came out with the little highlights in different, you know, parts of the hair, the different curves, and how it's in and out, the waves of her hair. I really like it. I love how the hair came out. But basically what I'm doing with the hair is I am using my hair tool brush, which is just like got strands in the texture, like strands of hair in the texture, and I blend out my highlights into the shadows, into the dark areas of the hair, and then I take the dark color and blend into the highlights to kind of create a more gradual change from light to dark, especially because it's black hair. It's going from so light to so dark. You have to have a nice transition between the two. And I just did that back and forth until I liked how it looked. And then I used a small round brush, really small, and did fine strands on top of it. Just like a few, just to kind of give it some dimension. Like you can see in this little part of the hair, you can see those strands of hair. And that was it. And it works really well to get the hair to look decent. Looks really good to me, at least. And finally, I am tackling the shirt and the sweater. I had some big hopes for that sweater. I wanted it to be textured, and you'll see me try to add some texture to it in a second, but I couldn't achieve that in Paint Tool side. I would have had to go into Photoshop and mess with brushes and figure out the texture I want and relearn how to use it the way I want, and I wasn't in the mood. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with a smooth texture top instead. So that's what I did. Anyways, I like how it came out in the end. I just wish I had more texture, maybe in the future. Anyways, this is the end of this one. I hope you like it. If you do, be sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to meet you there. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.